Quran chapter 30, the Romans. Revelation place Mecca, Revelation order 84, number of verses 60. Introduction. The Roman-Persian Wars 54 BC to 628 CE lasted 681 years. The sudden emergence of the Muslim Rashidun Caliphate in the year 632 CE, whose forces battled both empires and conquered them in a few years after the end of the last Roman-Persian War. The two most powerful empires in the early 7th century were the Roman Byzantine, referred to by the Arab as Roum, and the Persians, referred to by the Arabs as Al-Furs. In the years 613-614 CE, the two empires went to war, with the Romans suffering a severe defeat at the hands of the Persians. Damascus and Jerusalem both fell to the Persian Empire. In this Quran chapter, the Romans, it is stated that the Roman had met with a great defeat in the lowest land, but soon will gain victory over the Persians. Alif Lam Mim. A lot of speculations and opinions on these standalone letters/words. They are at the start of selected Quran chapters. They are not part of a sentence that can guide us to understand their meaning or compare them to other similar sentences in the Quran, nor these standalone letter words are continuation to other chapters that can give us insight in their meaning. Usually, when a word is part of a sentence and that word is new or has multiple meanings, to better understand its meaning, it helps to compare it when it appears again in the Quran. And by comparing them, we can better understand the meaning of that word. But these standalone letters are not part of any sentence. Even if repeated, they are still standalone. Despite they are letters in the form of words, no one could explain their meaning over the century, since Allah did not guide us to their meaning like other new or unfamiliar words in the Quran. To put things in perspective, the Arabic language has around 12 million words versus the English language around 600,000 words. For example, there are over 200 Arabic words for the English word lion. My personal view is without Allah's guidance, nothing can be understood. So these letters or standalone letters should be an example of our dependency on Allah's guidance in our life and via His straight path, the Quran. And Allah knows best. The Roum has been defeated, meaning the Romans has been defeated by the Persian in the year 620 CE. In the lowest land, the battle was in the vicinity of the Dead Sea around the Rift Valley. Science has discovered recently, with the help of satellite imaging, is that the area around the Dead Sea, located in the Great Rift Valley, is the lowest altitude on Earth, with an altitude of around 400 meters below sea level. No one could have known such a scientific fact in the 7th century unless revealed by the Creator Allah to Muhammad, peace be upon him. And they, mean the Romans, after their defeat, will prevail. In a few years, these verses were revealed year 620 CE in Mecca. Then the Romans, through Hercules' campaign in the year 624 CE, forced back the Persians' succession onto the defensive, allowing his forces to regain momentum on the Persian. That coincided with the same time the Muslim defeated the Meccan pagans in Battle of Badr, year 624 CE. To Allah the command from before and from after. Allah is in command at all times. From the first time the Roman lost to the second time they prevailed. And the defeat also of the pagan Meccans is all Allah's will. And on that day the believers will rejoice, addressing Muslims of Mecca, and they will rejoice not only for the victory of the religious people of the book, the Romans, over the pagan Persian at that time, but also for the believer Muslim victory over the Meccan pagans in Badr Battle 624, and also that the aforementioned Quranic verses prediction has been fulfilled, and Allah knows best. In Allah's victory, help is from Allah in all battles, as the victory is from Allah as per Badr 624 CE battle, and same to the Roman and Persian 624 CE battle. He gives victory to whomever He wishes, and He is the mighty, the merciful. Allah's promise, Allah does not forsake His promise, but most people don't have knowledge of the unseen, example the hereafter, and also Allah is the one, and there is no other power or partner to defeat His promised command. They, most people, have knowledge of the apparent of this worldly life, knowledge of their livelihood needs only. And they, from the hereafter, they are oblivious. It has distorted knowledge despite the apparent evidence around them and the constant reminder of the hereafter. Still, most are either busy with their worldly livelihood and choose to be heedless regarding the hereafter, or they are misguided. Have not they contemplated in themselves? Allah has not created the heavens and the earth and what in between except with the truth, for a named term. All around and within yourself are built-in fixed signs for people to reflect on them and to be guided till end of times. And indeed, many people, especially those who think they can get away with living their desires and causing havoc in this life, with the meeting of their God, at resurrection for judgment, are disbelieving. Have not they, the disbeliever, walked in the earth and seen how was the consequences of those before them? They were enhanced than you in force. They plowed the earth, constructed it, established aspect of progress, longer than they populated it. Its development outlasted them, example, ancient Egypt, like the pyramids and so on, and came to them their messenger with the clear signs, example, Moses to the Pharaoh, people of Thamud. And Allah was not to wrong them, but they were wronging themselves. Allah provided them with all living element to progress, and they disbelieved the messenger and denied Allah's help, deviated from Allah's path, and drove themselves to perish in this world and to hellfire in the hereafter. Then they followed what they wronged with wrong, and they denied Allah's signs, and with it they used to ridicule. Those who came to the vile and created on top of it in no corruption, they will be followed by no good in this world and the afterlife. Allah begins creation, all creation, example, human from one soul, then repeated. Only Allah continues cycle of life, example, human offspring from the same soul, then to Him will be returned. They all creation will be individually returned after death. And the day the hour rise, doomsday, will silence the criminals, all criminal disbelievers, and there will not be for them among their partners intercessors, no help from their false gods, and they, the criminal disbeliever, will be their partners disbelievers. And the day the hour is established, that day they will be separated, believers and disbelievers. As for those who believed and did righteous, they will be in meadow delighting. As for those who disbelieve and denied our signs and the meeting of the hereafter, those into torment will be brought. So glory to Allah when you go into the night and when you become in the morning. No known laws apply to Allah, exceptional in Himself, transcendent in His attributes, transcendent in His action, does what He wants. If we find a common characteristic between creation and God, we understand it's in a frame of work of nothing like Him. So glory to Allah when you follow Allah's law into the night. Glory to Allah when you become by Allah's will in the morning. Example, God's blessing on you when He takes your spirit at sleep and then He returns it back to you when you awake. It's like resurrection after death. And to Him the praises in the heavens and the earth, and the nights and when you are nooning. Praises to Him at all times, whether sleep, which is a form of death, or in the daytimes, the time of movement and life. Death and resurrection are represented by sleep and awakening from it. Sleep and awake is a daily visible process, so take them as a form and evidence of resurrection after death. Bring the living from the dead, mean create life from nothing. And bring the dead from the living, take the soul from the living to die. And revive the earth after its death, mean as you visibly can see, he revives the dry dead earth, example when it rains. And like this you are brought out, like that you will be resurrected. Whoever denied the resurrection, let him look at the process of reviving the dry dead earth one with plants. Among his signs that he created you from soil, first human, Adam, from soil, dust and water. Then you are humans spreading. As you can see, the offspring of Adam and Eve are reproducing and spreading. And among his signs that he created from yourself pairs, mean human type, males and females, to tranquil in it, male and female, to find balance and tranquility among each other based on their creation and ability. Masculinity and femininity are two complementary necessity, like the complementary of night and day. Each has its necessary task, night for rest and day for working. And place between you affection and mercy, a much needed attribute to balance and help coexist the male and female when they're young and when they grow old. In that are signs for people who reflects. Among his signs, the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the differences of your tongues, unique tongue imprint like unique fingerprints, and your colors. These are signs for the knowledgeable, those who search not just stop at appearance, but probe to find meanings and reasons. Example, human characteristic, fingerprints, sound, color, etc. must be distinguished in order to be able to determine responsibility in this world. And among his signs, your sleep by night and day, and your seeking of his bounty. These are signs for people who listen. And among his signs, he shows you lightning for fear and aspiration, and send down from the sky water to revive with it the land after its death. In those signs for people who reasons. And among his signs, that the heaven and the earth remain by his command. They obey and remains intact without deviation in total discipline and precision. Then when he calls you, a call from the earth, then you will come forth. First call from the heavens, all living will die. Second call, all will resurrect and come forward for judgment. And to him what in the heavens and the earth, all to him is obedient. All will obey Allah ultimately. But that free will choice that humans have will be removed on Judgment Day. In this life we are all submissive to Allah, either out of choice to submit or out of subjugations in matter in which we have no choices, example, sickness and death. Allah gave us free will to choose to believe or disbelieve in Him. Believers receive Allah's decree and destiny willingly and try to make their choices within Allah's path, leaving and accepting the results up to Allah. Disbeliever receives Allah's decree and destiny with dissatisfaction and ungratefulness, following their egos and own path. Ultimately, Allah will allow all humans' free will choice decision to manifest or not, and Allah knows best. And He who re-begins creation, example Adam's offsprings, then repeats it. He continues to create every moment, a new creation, a new child, a new soul, not that the soul leaves one body and moves into another one. And it's effortless for Him, and for Him the highest attributes in the heavens and the earth, and He is the mighty, the wise. He strikes to you an example from yourself, means familiar to you, you know its race, upbringing and history. Do you have from among who you possess any partners in what we supplied you that is equal? Like this, we distinguish our signs for people who can reason. That means Allah supplied you with provision and asset, example, air, money, nature, workers, etc. So do you go to these provision assets and allow them full partnership with absolute freedom to act like you and to be equal to yourself? If you don't accept this partnership on yourself, so why do you want Allah to accept it on Himself, to have partners of what He created and sustained? But followed those who wronged their desires with no knowledge. So who can guide whom has strayed from Allah? And for them no supporters, mean once Allah had abandoned them. So establish your faith to the religion Tilting mean faithfully heading, tilting towards moderation and towards the direction of the truth. Be steadfast, straight, and moderate. Allah's innate creation is called fitra in Arabic, that He has created people upon. This fitra, innate creation, the nature, instinct that God deposited in human formation since He created Adam and is passed through his offspring. This fitra is that you are created by Allah to worship, that by following spiritually and physically what Allah commanded. See Surah 51, verse 56. But some choose to struggle and go their own way against their fitra and worship their selfish desires. No altering to Allah's creation means no child is born except on that instinct fitra. Then his parents can help him stay on it or take him away of it. But Allah's instinct is never altered, is there is to guide humans to Allah's truth. That is the worthy religion that stays on the fitra faithfully in moderation. But most people don't know. Turn to Him in repentance and establish prayers, and don't be among the polytheists, of those who divided their religion and became sects. Every party with what they have rejoices, and when harm touches people, they call upon their God, repenting to Him. Then if He let them taste from His mercy, a group from them, means some people who repented and God had mercy on them, with their God take partners, mean they associate mercy to other than their God and go back to their own way. So they disbelieved of what we brought them, of mercy from their harm. So enjoy, mean further enjoy your desires in this world. You will know the consequences in this life or the hereafter. Or have we sent down upon them authority, that He speaks of what they partner with, means revelation, power or argument, and proof that says according to their desires to partner with God. And if we tasted the people mercy, they rejoice with it. And if illness strike them of what their hands had put forth, they despair. That's to signify God's justice in inflicting calamity and His grace in bestowing His mercy. Not to think that you will be saved by your own actions only. No, by God's grace upon you, thought your action can qualify you for Allah's grace, and Allah knows best. Have not they seen that Allah spreads sustenance to whom He wills and restricts? Allah is the sustainer. He gives with reasons, and sometimes He provides without obvious to you reasons. So don't be deceived by your own reasons or despaired. Indeed, these are signs for people who believes. The issue of sustenance requires a belief in the wisdom of Allah in giving and withholding. So bring to relatives His rights, and the needy, and the wayfarer. This is best for those who seeks Allah's face. Donate with good intention, seeking only Allah, not to show off. And those are the prosperous. And whatever you received of inflated interest, that inflated within people capital, is called riba. It's an interest on capital loan that take advantages of the needy or situation that causes hardship and inflation. Does not inflate with Allah. And whatever you give of zakah, mean donation, tax donation, seeking Allah's faith, mean donate with good intention, seeking only God, not to show off. Those are the multipliers. Allah who created you, then provided to you, then will cause you to die, then will cause you back to life. Are there among your partners who does of that anything? Exalted and above and high beyond of what you partner. Corruption had appeared in the land and the sea by what the hands of people earned. Mean the tide of corruption rose over righteousness. Will let them taste some of what they have done. Perhaps they will return. Mean Allah is omnipresent and will interfere and reprimand those people to taste the consequences of what their hands have done. Perhaps they will choose to return back to righteousness. Mean when corruption overcome righteousness, Allah reprimand will come. Say, means O Muhammad, peace be upon him, travel through the land and observe how was the consequences of those before. Most of them were associators, mean associated partner with Allah, polytheist, idolaters. Establish your face toward the worthy religion. Before comes a day, no repel to it from Allah, mean nobody can prevent it or push back. That day they crack, mean they were split, divide, these people who associated partner with Allah, polytheist, idolatrous. Whoever disbelieve, upon him his disbelief. It's his choice, it's on him. And whoever does righteousness, it's for themselves paving. Mean who does good does not do it for himself alone, but for him and his descendants, paving his way and to his followers in righteousness in this world and for the hereafter. To reward those who have believed and done good deeds from his bounty. Indeed, he does not love the disbeliever, does not bestow his surplus on the disbeliever. And among his signs that he sends the winds with tidings, he only sends destiny and good tidings. And to let you taste of his mercy, on the tidings turns into hardship. And the ships sail by his commands, mean God is omnipresent, always in control. And to seek from his surplus, mean despite the hardship in life and the imminent death, God innate in us the desire to live and seek his surplus, so that you be thankful. And we did send before you messenger to their folk, and they brought to them the clear evidence. So we took retribution from those who transgressed, and it was rightful upon us to support the believers. Allah who sends the winds that excites the clouds, then spread it in the sky however he wishes, then scatter it, so you see the asteroids, means in heat rain, emerge from within them, from the scattered clouds. And if he hit with it, mean the rain, whomever he wishes, from his worshippers, they rejoice. Although before it came down upon them, they were in despair. Look at the effect of the mercy of Allah, how he revived the land after its death. Indeed, that, mean Allah, will revive the dead, and he is over everything able. Means don't despair, God by his mercy will provide, and when you die, will revive you. Just look how he supply rain to revive the dead land. And if we send wind, mean dry wind, hardship, that they sow it yellow, mean dried their tilth, they would remain, mean mainly the active morning times, after that disbelieving, mean they despair in Allah's mercy, that is a form of disbelieving. Indeed you, means Muhammad, peace be upon him, do not make the dead listen, mean the dead in heart, nor make the deaf hear your calling, mean the unconscious listener, if they turn their back away, means walk away and not even look at you. Means, O Muhammad, don't despair, just convey the message. The fault in them, they are dead in heart, deaf in conscience, and blind. And you cannot guide the blind away from their straying. You make listen, except those who believes in our revelation, so they are submissive. You only reach those pure in heart and instinct. Allah who created you from weakness, then made after weakness strength, then made after strength weakness and old age. He creates what he wills, and he is all-knowing, all-able. And the day the hour rises, mean the reckoning time, swears the culprit, mean criminal, aggressor, disbeliever, deceivers, they did not linger except an hour. Like this, they used to delude, means lie, manipulate the truth to their benefit. Example, will last forever, no afterlife. And said those who received the knowledge and faith, mean accepted Allah's knowledge that led to faith. You, mean the culprits, have lingered in Allah's book till resurrection day, mean you lived as was decreed and written by Allah till resurrection day. This is the day of the resurrection, but you had no knowledge, meaning refused to accept God's given knowledge that the messenger brought you. So that day does not benefit those who wronged their excuses, nor they will be reproached, meaning will not be lightly blamed, but justice will be served as promised. And we stroke to the people in this Quran from every example. And if you brought them a sign, they will say, those who disbelieved, you are but a falsifier. Even if you bring them a clear sign or miracles, like the disbeliever before them, they will still not believe. Like that, Allah seals on the hearts of those who has no knowledge, refuse to accept God's given knowledge, and with time they suppress their innate feeling and stray far from God's path. So be patient. Indeed, Allah's promise is right, due to all, and don't be wavered by the oblivious, stay firm and steady on Allah's path. End of chapter 30, the Romans.